Martin Root is with us. He is the author of a book called Project Heaven on Earth. 3 simple questions that will help you change the world easily. Welcome.
Thank you, Joel. A pleasure to be with you.
But I have a bit of a confession to make.
What is it?
It does sound a little naive and utopian.
Why don't we add airy-fairy as well, which is what I've heard many times.
Okay, naive, utopian, airy-fairy.
It does. It does.
What about that?
Let me tell you how I came to the title and how I came to this work, because I think that context is important. So
Okay.
I'm a management consultant. I've worked with some major companies in the world, Apple Computer, Sony Pictures, Southern California Edison, Mary and Merrill Dow. I've spoken at Harvard Business School 4 times.
I'm a little relieved.
And thank you. What I'm interested in my consulting work is results, because consultants get paid normally for results.
Right.
I'm concerned with the state of the world today, Joel. There's a tsunami of bad news that keeps coming at us day after day after day. People feel dispirited. They feel alone. There's nothing I can do. I can't make a difference. That's just the way it is in the world. Mm-hmm. To put that into a précis, it's hell on earth. So this thought...
And by the way, it's perfectly legitimate for people to use the phrase, hey, that's hell on earth.
How many times have we heard that in our life?
All right, but if you go around saying, I want to create heaven on earth...
That's nuts.
You're an airy-fairy, tree-hugging, Northern California wacko liberal.
I think what we need to do is turn the ship that's called the world in another direction, to have a new narrative. I'm going to be outrageous here. I'm going to call that narrative, we are co-creating heaven on earth.
It is utopian. And by the way, do I need to remind you what's been done in the name of utopian dreams?
Stalin, Mao, no, you do not.
Thank you.
What they did is try to impose their view of utopia. What I'm doing is evoking your view of utopia. I say that you know what heaven on earth is. I say that people, the vast majority of the world, want a world that works, want a heaven on earth. How do we get them engaged simply and easily to start making that happen?
So
that's what this is about.
What is the question that you ask people?
I ask 3 questions. That's the premise of the book. Number 1, tell me a time when you experienced heaven on earth.
Me personally?
Sure.
You mean like in my macro view of things, eliminating, or me personally?
Personally.
Well, when I was a junior in high school, I beat the star halfback of our football team in a bike race. Okay? My macro version of heaven on earth is no poverty, no starvation, no war.
That's the second question. Imagine you had a magic wand and could have heaven on earth. What is that? When you hear people answer that question, Joel, it is so deeply moving because people know the kind of world they want. And the third question is, if you take one tiny little simple, easy step in the next 24 hours, you can begin engaging in heaven on earth.
How tiny are we talking about?
Let me give you some examples. This is more than just a good idea, Joel. These are people all around the world who have begun to do this.
Like what?
Like a police officer who's developed a 16-page manual called Heaven on Earth for Law Enforcement. Like a woman in Hawaii who simply embedded at the end of her emails what heaven on earth was for her. Like another woman who has created a program where she asked people to donate in her community a penny a day to help end violence for women. It's called Making Change.
People just give their $3.65 on January 2 and be done with it?
No, they don't. They have to give a penny a day.
A daily action.
Daily action is what I'm about here, because small actions make huge differences in the world. That's what we're after.
Would it be right, tell me if I'm wrong, to put this changing the macro one micro at a time?
That's a brilliant way to say it.
Thank you.
Changing the story of what it means to be a human.
We live in a story, don't we?
We do live in a story. And we don't realize that we have the power to change that story. One of the major blocks is we can't have heaven on earth. And I want to say no.
The belief that we can't have heaven on earth.
The belief, excuse me, yes. Mm-hmm. I want to say that's not accurate, because that doesn't serve anybody.
I'm still not even persuaded that we necessarily can, but I do think that living in the question or these questions would bring about more little corners of it.
Correct.
So what do you want people to do?
I want everybody listening and watching this video to do one simple thing. Recall a time when you experienced heaven on earth. Go to my website, projectheavenonearth.com. Tell me what that one time is. That's all I'm asking for people to do.
Take that action. Be part of that conversation.
And begin. The way you start a new story, Joel, is to start the new story.
All right. Thank you for the conversation here, Ming.
Thank you, Joel.